Hello, superstars. What's up, people? It's good to see you guys. We are here with our admin team and then the support admin team, which would be Dorothy and myself, and Sahil will be joining us. And Colin really, really wanted to join us, but unfortunately, he has to be at a wine tasting. So
Wine
he's going to
tasting
do
out
that
of
for
the way.
us. Yeah, he's going to make sure the
do what
wines
a
are
man's
good.
gotta do.
What's up, Sahil?
Look who it is.
We got
Hey, how's it going?
Yay.
Deldeck support is on the phone.
Oh, God.
How's everyone doing?
Doing well. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm a little jet lagged, but it is what it is.
Was how many hours India? 9.5, 11.5? What was it?
No, it was 16 and a half hours of flight time.
York.
Plus they board an hour early over there, so I was on that plane for like 17 and a half, almost 18 hours.
What is the time difference between there and here?
Oh, the time difference is 9.5. They're 9.5 hours ahead.
9.5. Okay, that's
Yeah,
quite a
Logan.
bizarre time difference.
Well, he was asking how Zoro's doing, and that was going to be my question, too.
Yeah, Zoro's doing not so hot. He's been better, but we saw a doctor here today in Boca, and they wanted to see a specialist, and we have another doctor friend that we have a connection with in Ohio, so we're going to go back to Ohio tomorrow to get him seen over there, and then we have another appointment on the 20th in Florida with another doctor. So we're trying to get into every weekend to see. He's lost like probably a good 12 or 13 pounds since I've been gone, like 2 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah, so he's lost quite a bit of weight, and his autoimmune disease was he got like a skin. It affects his skin, so he has like lesions and stuff on his tongue and gums, and now one's come up on his eye, like on the right side. So it's getting a little worse. So they're putting him on they want to put him on new medication and do a bunch of other stuff. But I was telling Evan earlier that he's a good dog, so he's not in any pain, so he's still himself, and he's very selfless because he still wants to work, and he's watching me, and I'm trying to watch him and make sure he's comfortable, and he's doing the same for me. So but he's a good dog, and we'll he should be. Hopefully he'll be fine. They said it's not life threatening. Once they figure out what medications to give and what's going on, they're
That's
not
good.
worried about. And he should be fine long term. Otherwise, I'd be freaking out if it was otherwise. But nothing he has is life threatening. They said it's just
that's
you had
that's
no
the big
dog
thing
on the plane.
Sorry,
you had no dog on the plane.
No, I had no dog on the plane going there, which was the first time I've done that in almost 12 or 13 years. I almost never ever travel alone. At least I have someone who knows my medical stuff flying with me, whether it's Katrina or somebody else or a dog, which is most of the time. That was the first time I've ever flown, or not first time ever. It's first time since I've had a service dog that I've gone alone. It was pretty scary, but it's I didn't really have a choice, so it was kind of.
I would definitely have a few drinks and maybe a Valium or something just to sit back and relax.
Oh, they finally got Tito's back on the plane.
I know he knows. He knows. I'm not telling him anything he doesn't know. I'm just talking to him.
But I'm telling Sahil about drinking on a plane.
He invented it, right?
Especially when I found out I got Tito's back. It used to be the Wheatley vodka, and I'm not a fan of that. You guys know I love Tito's. Now it's they stock that again. So I've been drinking on the planes again. I have a nice Tito's cranberry on the way, so it wasn't too bad.
I seem to recall somebody saying to me on the flight out, you had too much to drink the previous weekend.
Yep. That's almost every weekend that ends up happening.
Nice. So I bet everybody wants to know what Evan and us do behind the scenes, and it's mostly Evan. We sit here and we do little stuff to support, but we're seeing the feet pics. We're at one rule that's supposed to be broken or another. At the end of the day, we're a Facebook group of cool people trying to come together to support each other and do some great things of sharing awesome information so we can make these flights a little bit better, learn new tips, just understand United, which, they're just trying to, what are they doing again? Leadership is good, or what is it? Lead the way, good leads the way, whatever they're telling us.
Good leads the way. That's it.
So we're all trying to do that. So let's talk about that. What are some of the things that we're doing? People are always questioning, why didn't this person get approved? Why did we not approve this post? Let's just talk about that stuff, because and please ask questions if somebody has a question of us, because sometimes I'll get a comment and I'm like, hey, I'm just a podcast guy. I'm just trying to approve posts that make sense to me, that I'm not going to get yelled at.
Before they start, I wanted to say that they're the ones doing most of the work. It's Colin and Dorothy and Sahil. I've focused on just beating them with a whip until they get it done right.
Damn.
And also making sure that we still have the right permissions to get into the group, because we have about a 1,600 person backlog right now. And I keep on going through that. And I've been finding people that I requested proof of status from in 2021, and they turn around and they just apply again and never send proof of status. So when I start to see some of these repeat offenders, I just immediately decline them. And then in some cases I ban them if I've seen them do it 2 or 3 times, because they just take up too much time. So, but the people below are responsible for the foot picks. And they aren't foot picks. They are shoe picks. Let's be clear. Yeah. The rules say foot picks.
Yeah, so, I think I approved the most recent shoe pick, which was challenged, and we have a complaint in there now from someone saying this violates rule number whatever. And I was thinking, well, how do you travel? Do you just not look down? But
it's the wall. It's the feet. It's the shoes on the wall. That's what it is.
My impression was that originally when people were uncomfortable with the feet picks, it wasn't so much that people were freaked out by limbs or appendages. It was more an issue of passenger shaming, that some person is going through an airport dealing with whatever they're dealing with. But here we are grabbing a photo and then mocking them in a private Facebook group. And I think people were uncomfortable with that. So when I look at posts and I'm thinking, do I approve or not approve? It's also sort of the intent. And this was like feet up on the bulkhead, but the tone of the person posting it, I didn't think was, I don't know, sarcastic or cruel or mocking. It was kind of, this was a long day, a difficult flight, and someone put their feet up. I mean, none of us are eating off the bulkhead.
Well, you know how tempting it is to put your feet up after a long flight and
absolutely. And there are people of different heights. There are people who have different kinds of back problems. There was some comment in a thread yesterday or the day before about, well, you don't put your feet on the wall at home. And I was thinking,
yeah, I do.
I do.
My wall.
I'm required to put my feet on the wall. I'm married to a yoga therapist, and if I've got a stiff back, I'm on my back with my feet up the wall, which is
I do the same thing
with clients. And I don't do it at dinner parties, but yeah, I don't have my feet up the wall, and I don't do it on United because there's a time and a place. But
you think United would have put some footrest up there by now? They know that people are going to put their feet up, so put something there to let you, like a shelf.
Well, that's probably why they don't. It's like, why do airports have unmovable armrests between seats? And everyone says, oh, well, that's so you can't lie down. It's like, okay, thanks, but then. And
people go under the armrest. Have you seen that?
Oh yeah, I can fit under an armrest, and have.
I can't.
And then people are shocked to see people sleeping on the floor. It's like, well, then let them sleep on a bench.
That is true, but but now you've seen the seating at the airport lately is let's put your feet up. Yeah, they've got the long recliners made out of wood, and they've got these footstools in the club that you can put your feet up in, and somebody just said the aisle seat armrests are movable. Well, I guess that is true. I think she was talking about the armrests in the airport, though, weren't you?
Yeah. I mean, airports are designed so that you cannot sleep there. But if you're stuck overnight and you have nowhere to go.
Yeah. You mean like those people in Boston that fake that whole sleeping at the airport thing? But anyway, so I guess Sahil doesn't do much of anything because he's not talking much.
I approve the posts that I feel like I won't get in trouble for. Whenever I see one, I'm like, well, I don't know about this one. I'm like, I'm gonna wait for someone else.
Me too. Sahil, I think you and I are like, we're the weak ones. We're going through, and I go, yes, ooh, yes.
Exactly. I'm like, well, I like 50-50, and I'm not gonna risk it.
I get yelled at enough in real life. I don't need to get yelled at in this group. I'm already like, yeah.
I do the same thing. I just leave them if it's questionable. I know Dorothy will have a calm head and will do the right thing. So I leave it.
So why don't we tell people about like some of the ones that we leave? So there was one where a woman was drying underwear that was trying to come through. And I know that we all looked at it. I felt like it was an Evan test. We're all looking at it going, it's funny. I mean, I'm reading it, but I don't know that I want to post this and listen to people complain about this.
Complain about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I saw that one and I clicked and I watched the whole video. And,
So did I.
and I guess what I'm thinking is if you're drying underwear on an airplane, something has gone very wrong in
Yes.
your day. And it's not the way I would dry the underwear. I would maybe take paper towels from the toilet and try to blot the water out and then put them on wet. But nobody's doing that because it's how they think laundry should be dried. Someone's
Probably
had a not good thing happen to them and they're doing the best they can. And again, it gets sort of into that area of passenger shaming. And I don't know what went wrong with their day. Not sure I want to know what went wrong with their
I
day.
think there
But
were also kids' underwear too.
They might have been, but
it could
that
have
was the
been
thing
they
I
were
was trying
drying
to
their
figure
kids'
out.
underwear because they've got to put it back on their kid and they don't want their kid to get a rash.
Yeah.
I don't know. But it's not really related to
Flying. No.
United.
There
And
you go.
so I guess the posts that I approve are ones, obviously about United or about Star Alliance or something like that, or ones that I think I recently approved one. It was a recipe for za'atar chicken, which was not being given to us by United, but it's kind of like a group in joke, and
Yeah.
it is a community, and we do have our in jokes and our little this and that, and I approve those kinds of posts. I'm least likely to approve posts that are just, here's a TikTok video of something funny about an airport.
Sure.
Not because I don't enjoy those, but just because if we let all of those in, then we're just a group for sharing TikToks. And I don't really think that kind of dilutes for me the purpose too much. So if it's a completely generic aviation thing, I'm less inclined.
The funny thing about that post is that's the second time it's surfaced in the group. 4 or 5 years ago, it was actually posted and approved. I wonder who approved it, but it was. So some of these actually make it around again and again and again. So we'll see repeat posts of things.
Right.
Nikki says
On
she
the
finds
other hand, I can watch that Key and Peele boarding group 1 thing. I
Yes,
could
over
watch
and
it
over
every
again.
week.
Yeah.
I love that.
Nikki
So
found the
if I
perfect
saw that
sleeping
again,
spot.
I'd probably approve it again just because I enjoy it so much.
Nikki found the perfect sleeping spot in Terminal A. And of course she would. The stadium steps in the kids' playground near 821. On the late flights, there's no kids. Thank you, Nikki.
Just the germs they left for you. That's perfect.
See, next time I know, late at night, I'll go see if Nikki's laying under the stadium steps.
There you go.
On the stadium steps.
But I do think it would be helpful maybe to talk a little bit to the group about why they see things like duplicate posts or whatnot. And I think it's helpful to understand how Facebook works, that if you have joined a group and you have turned on notifications and you have told Facebook, I would like to see every post that ever comes out of this group, that does not mean that Facebook will show you every post that comes out of that group.
Right.
So somebody can submit an article to us and then immediately we get, and I approve it. And then we get a comment. It's like, well, that's already been posted. That was posted on Wednesday. Why didn't that person?
Exactly what it sounds like.
Right. And
that's what it
and
feels
well,
like when it's written.
quite possible that someone has been checking the group every day and did not see that previous link.
100%.
If I personally didn't approve the previous link, if Scott or Sahil approved the link, then I didn't see it either. So sometimes duplicate content gets posted that way because people genuinely didn't see it. You can search the group for posts. As a moderator, so many posts come through a day. What do we see? Like 30, 40, 50 a day?
More.
Honestly, I'm not going to sit and search the content of 50 posts. I can't because I have day jobs. I'm just not going to do that.
For free. Yeah. This
For
is all
free.
done for
Right,
free.
right.
Everybody works for free, right?
True. But I'm just even for money, I'm not going to do that because it's too much. So duplicate content will slip through that way. But also remember that unless you are deliberately checking the group every day, you miss tons of posts too. So you might see a post twice and somebody else might see it 0 times. And, it comes out in the wash. And if you see an article twice and you've read it once,
don't read it a second time.
Is just scroll on by and not read it a second time and maybe not let that bring you down or ruin your day because somebody else might not have seen it at all. So we try not to have duplicate content, but I don't think if There's lots of articles coming through now about Delta changing their requirements or whatnot. So 2 articles about the same thing, is that duplicate content or not? Maybe someone has seen none of those articles. If you already know what Delta's doing and you don't care, then don't click on those posts. Just go on by and wait for the next post that is interesting.
Sometimes articles from 2 different publications have different data, and it's not all
100%.
And a different angle and different opinions.
And sometimes incorrect data, because I saw 2 of those articles. One said that it was $35,000 in spend. One said $30,000 for the new 1K version of Delta. So there was a similar but different article saying 2 different numbers. So now it intrigued me to want to see a third one to see who's telling the truth. So again, you might be getting misinformation if you only read one. So, depends how you want to look at it.
Also, Facebook being what it is, you can search for something and not find it. So one of the closed private groups I'm in actually has people, and we're a smaller group, has people writing keywords at the top of every post so that the search function works better. And even that does not work, because I can put a search term down and later search for my own post and not find it. And I know it's there because I wrote it, and it's still not there. So I don't think it's angry at other members for not having searched adequately, because maybe they did and Facebook just didn't show it to them.
There's one switch that I always forget about that people may not know. When you're searching for a post, there's a checkbox that says posts I've already seen. And if you don't check that box, you could search all you want. If you've already looked at that post, it's not going to come up again. So that's why people think the search isn't working. But when there was some dramatic incident happened like a year or so ago, I must have hit 70 or 80 posts at the same time, all with the same information, the exact same post. So I'm going through trying to decline them, but it took an ultra long time to decline all the posts. And it was the same data, the same exact report. So people have to be a little patient. The other day, somebody posted something, and there was this, and I was doing posts that day, and I went and I saw 13 posts. I figured you guys were taking the day off. So I looked at the 13
posts. It happens, yeah.
And I saw one, and then about 10 posts later, he posted again and said, I posted this before, but it never came out. So I'm like, all right, well, it's only 10 posts away. We're not posting these immediately. So just wait. So it seems like he was annoyed that it wasn't posted the first time. But people don't understand. We're not sitting in that.
And depending on what's in the post, Facebook will put it in different places. If it's just a post, it floats up higher, at least on my page, the way I have it. But anything that has a link in it or a word that they've decided might be a problematic word, anything with shit, anything with the word pump, I realized today. There were a whole bunch of things set into moderation. Somebody made a joke about tires. Or somebody had asked, could they bring a tire on and would that be counted as oversized baggage? Right? Do you remember that post? And then they called United, and United said, no, don't worry about it. Then they got to the airport and they said, yes, it was oversized baggage, and they got charged for it. And then somebody said, well, if you tried to bring 2 tires, then I understand why somebody would have been too tired. That comment got sent to moderation for being a possible conflict in the comments. And then there were jokes under it about pumping, like tire pumping it up. And those were all flagged for having a problematic word. And I'm reading the comments going, what word? What word? The word pump.
Well, I will tell you, we do have filters that I have filled in our group for words like the 7 dirty words.
Right, but Facebook sometimes will find its own words that or things that they say are possible source of conflict in comments, which is supposed to be people are fighting. And sometimes I look at them and it's like, there's no conflict. There's no conflict. But that slows everything down because it's sort of put in another place for us to go and check one by one before we can let them go. Any kind of link gets sent to possible spam. So links.
One of our members has a name that constantly hits our filter. So I can't. I mean, I know the name, but it's always in the filter, and it's supposed to always get sent over there. I'm like, well, I can't do anything about that, but it is what it is.
I mean, as you know, Facebook has told me that they will monitor my speech on the platform and off. I don't know how they're going to do that. It sounds like they're going to be following me around for a year to see if I engage in any more.
Dorothy? What did you do?
Somebody posted a photo of a United meal, and it was something like, potatoes with rice, bread, and a white dessert. And I said, I just commented white supremacy. Bam, hate speech. And I got a notice saying that they understood mistakes happen and they weren't going to ban my account. They were just going to restrict me for a month. And they said the restriction was only that I couldn't run paid ads, which I wasn't doing that month anyway, so I didn't care. And I couldn't make live phone calls, which again, I wasn't doing that month. But that's what's keeping me out of the chats. So I can't see any of our chats because I mocked a high carbohydrate meal. And it was a high carbohydrate meal.
Well, you'll be happy to know that Kelly finally just got into the chats.
I know. And I asked her about that. And she said it had been from something that she said 2 years ago, though. So
I will tell you that I made a joke about something. Somebody was pissed about something in the group. And I made a comment that, and remember Marie Antoinette and the whole French Revolution, and the big statement was off with their heads.
Yeah.
So I just said off with their heads. And it got flagged many months later as violent hate speech. Yeah. And I tried to ask them to review it, and they said, no, we're sticking by our decision, and you're going to be monitored for the next 90 days or whatever it was. And it's pathetic.
Yeah. I mean, I posted, I had a friend whose account was completely blocked for a week because she had referred, she didn't even have a photo, but she referred to her own dog's nipple, and it was the word nipple. It shut the whole thing down. She's like, it's a dog, it's got body parts. I can't help that.
Sometimes it's silly.
So aside from watching the words that we use and just self managing our own accounts so that we don't get in those situations, what are some of the things that the other group members can do? So they're getting a better idea of what we're seeing. So we're seeing some interesting things that, okay, do we accept this or not, or do we approve it? What are some things they can do to make the place, make this group better for them and help us and help themselves?
Have a glass of wine, maybe before.
That's fair. That's fair. Just lighten up. Okay, I take that one.
Right.
What about 2 glasses of wine?
If that's what you need.
No. When 2 glasses of wine, then we get all the bad.
And it goes the other way.
It's probably a bell curve. And once you hit too many glasses of wine, you go right back down.
You get the perverse posts. Yes.
I guess one of the other complaints that I commonly see is people saying, I can't believe somebody doesn't understand how plus points work. We discussed this a year ago. Is maybe to remember that we have new people pouring into the group all the time, and people who are new to 1K pouring in all the time. And even if it's old hat to you, and what the Greg Smith method is, somebody new might not have any idea. Mm-hmm. And if you've come to the group just for information, there's naturally going to be a point where you are educated enough that you maybe aren't getting a lot of new information. So if all you want is something new, you might have outgrown the group or outlived its usefulness to you. But if you also want the camaraderie, I mean, look at all these social events that people have done and whatnot. If you want that kind of community amongst other people who understand the way you fly, and whenever I came back from Greece, by chance, I had a chance Carl Brothers sighting as he was running through security to go to Newark. He stopped, took a selfie, and on he went. And I was just waiting for my husband to come through because he didn't have pre-check.
He missed Carl?
Yes, he did.
Carl?
But I showed him this. He said, "Was that the guy you were trying to meet?" And I said, "Yeah, he has to catch a plane." He goes, "Oh, where's he going?" I said, "Well, to Newark, and then back to Singapore, and then back to Newark, and then back to." And my husband kind of nodded, and he said, some kind of strange people. And I said, well, yeah, but I get what he's doing. So if you wanted a community of people who get what you're doing and why you fly the way you fly and why you love travel and whatnot, then it's a great group. But not every post is going to enlighten you if you already have your favorite seat. But other people are still learning the systems and learning the tricks and whatnot, and just to be patient with that, I think.
Well, the other thing about the post is, since the creation of the chats, it seems that you've been spared a lot of the posts that we used to get.
Because I can't see the chats.
Well, you can't see the chats, but that plus points chat is on fire. I mean,
really?
It's constantly people looking for points. There are people that actually go there generously to offer points.
Oh, that's very nice.
Which is very nice. There are people that that go to the dating chat, which is also on fire, which surprises me. The other day I created a military chat because one of the people that, and this is part of the confusion too. I had a colonel that had requested, a retired colonel that requested to join our group.
Mhm.
And I sent him the request for proof of status. And he goes, but I'm already in your group. I said, no, you're not in our group. If I'm asking you proof of status, you are not a member. I said,
Yeah.
you're in the zombie group that kind of looks like us, but doesn't require
Mhm.
proof of status and has lots of spam and other stuff. So he listened to me for a little while. Then he sent his proof of status. I was a colonel. And I realized that Peter Barbunas is also former military. And then Roger Moss is also former military. So I decided, well, why not give these guys a place to play? And I
Yeah.
set up a military, former military, and active military. So now they're all in there and they ask each other questions about taking flights and doing things. But that's the whole point of the chat, to get the burden off of the main group so we can focus on real news. And somebody named Cal DeJulius, my BF, is sitting next to me as I watch this, and he's very concerned now to learn that there is a dating chat. Wow.
That's hilarious.
Well, I think the idea, I mean, as I understand it, was that it was mainly for single people. So, I mean,
Well, but you'd be surprised who's in there. So it's supposed to be for
I'll
single
admit,
people.
I am in there, but in my defense, Katrina told me to, because her and I were together when you made it, and she's like, "Oh, I want to see what happens if there's any drama." So that was the
I'll
only
let
reason. So,
Yeah. I got
only
Katrina's
reason
number. Don't you
I
worry.
joined.
There's,
Did you
I'll
find-
say this. I'll say this. If you don't want to get Netflix and you don't want to watch reality TV, go into a chat room and just people watch. Because for me, I'm not seeking plus points, and at the end of the year, I might have some to offer. I'm just in there, just blown away by just the conversations. It's just amazing to me, like some of the things that go on. So I have to admit, I'll drop in for 2 seconds, scroll. People watch, do it like once a week, and that's an interesting chat room.
well, maybe
Yes, it
in
is.
2 years I'll be allowed to dip in. So
Well, you have to stop running with the wrong crowd, Dorothy.
I have to stop criticizing photos of meals. But,
Food.
So I've got a thought. If we're trying to enhance community, and I think this needs to start at one of Sahil's next parties, I think that
Scott?
we got to take.
Scott,
What's that?
read the
Yeah,
last
you got a little
message.
Boston there. You got a little Boston. I want to give you just a little bit of Boston.
Read
Just
the
a
last
little bit.
message, Scott. Read the last
Just a
message.
little bit.
Read the
What
last
did you say?
message, Scott.
I am single now, enjoying the chat. Thanks.
That's the guy that posted about the chat a minute ago.
That's
Calvin
fantastic.
Julius sounds like he has a good sense of humor.
I love it.
excellent.
So I think what we do is, Dorothy said that we actually have a great Satar chicken recipe now. I think that we have that at every single party, and that is a staple. And we see who makes the best Satar chicken.
Yeah,
it's
that's
sort
a
of-
challenge, Sahil.
A bake-off, right?
I actually think I have a feeling I could see me and Sahil just sitting there eating a ludicrous amount of good Zatar chicken.
Oh yeah, I'll eat it. I don't ask me to cook it, but I will definitely eat it. I'll be the judge, no problem.
That's what you have to
Yeah,
pay
we
me for. Did everyone see my picture, my post of the menu at Newark Airport of one of the restaurants
No.
in the 120s or 130s? It has 2 different Zatar chicken dishes.
Wow.
That's
It
a lot.
has an entree and a sandwich. So
That's 2 more than
it
most menus.
must be really, really popular. It's like by 122 or 123 in that area. If you're interested to go and take
So
a
it's
look
in
at
the
it.
United Terminal. It's actually like just a funny joke that's going to draw people in. I like it.
And it's one of the newer restaurants they opened in the back. But
Nice.
well, this is the quietest I've ever heard Sahil.
Oh, I'm just listening. I'm getting all the different perspectives. Well, if you have any, if I like to talk and I have something useful to offer, which actually that's when I would like to talk, but I talk anyways. But but I'm just soaking in the different perspectives. I've talked to you and Scott plenty. My first time hearing Dorothy's perspective, so I'm just listening and learning.
I like it.
Are people really serious about this? Do you eat outside of C-123 or classified? I've only been to classified once, and I can't tell you if it was a pleasant experience. It really wasn't. And I think that's Peter. It has to be Peter Barbunas. That's
Well, it may be because he said that he's waiting for a Dirty Daddy's
Dirty
chat.
Daddy's chat room.
So it's at least somebody that's been to a party.
Yeah, and saw my hat. Yes, it was that party in
The
Florida.
cake, the hat, the whole thing. Yeah. Absolutely.
Dorothy, you missed quite an event on the last boat ride.
I know.
And
So
it's because
The
you're not-
last one was very eventful. The crew still talks about it. Tuesday on Sunday, I have some friends coming over on the boat, and obviously, first as Captain does every week when I have friends on board, he goes, "Is it going to be like that party again?"
is it going to be
You know,
those people?
You don't
again?
want to be part of that, but you kind of want to be part of that. You know what I
Yeah.
Oh, it was definitely fun. It was definitely, I think it was definitely an experience
Yeah.
for sure.
It had high
One,
points.
one I wanted to do is the one coming up this weekend with the train.
That's I've actually I
I
didn't buy my
love
tickets yet.
trains, but
I'm buying my tickets tomorrow, but I hear that it's filling up pretty well, and we're meeting
yeah.
at a taco spot tomorrow night for dinner. So it'll be
Wow.
just what we need to go on a train on Saturday. And then we are taking the train Saturday to the stockyards, and we're gonna have dinner there and hang out for a few hours, and then back to the hotel. Lloyd has a whole agenda that he put into the event chat. So
Yeah,
for a couple of days.
it looks great. It looks great. Have him take good notes and make it an annual event, and I'll come next year. You know,
pictures, and then we have the Vegas event coming up. So
mean?
that will be interesting in November.
in November. When is that?
Yeah, I was
At
gonna ask
the
the same thing.
beginning of November, it's been moved to.
The weekend of the 4th. I'm actually going to be in Turks and Caicos, so I'm not going to be able to do that one. But
November.
I owe my brother in Reno a visit, and that's probably the
that'll be
airport
fun.
I'd fly into. So
Well, they already shared with me the special tchotchke that they made for the event. It looks pretty nice. So the lady running the event, who will remain nameless now, is doing a really nice job. She has dinner planned at an Italian speakeasy that Nikki's been to, in case Nikki knows what I'm talking about. And there's going to be an event at the Neon Museum later in the evening, so we can see all the lights on. And there's something earlier in the day. And then Sunday, they were trying to figure something out because there's a football game that day. So we have a few, and maybe a dinner for some of the people on Friday night. So it'll be a promising weekend in Vegas. But getting back to this group, the one thing that people can do that's easy that they expect us to do, see if what you're looking to post has already been posted.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at. That was where my question was a leading question. They didn't say that, but yeah. And then here's the deal: we're also going to give you grace, and we get it that we're going to miss a few. But if we're all at least doing our best to go, wait, I've seen that. Because again, sometimes as I'm going to approve it, I'm like, I think I've seen that before. And actually, I will say this, taking some accountability, I need to decline and not just leave it for the next guy to look at it, because I've actually been guilty of that. Has anybody else done that? I see it and I go, oh, I've seen that one before. All I got to do is hit decline, but I'm like, well, maybe they want to post it.
Well,
so maybe I'm going to take the effort.
Here's a question, maybe for Evan. If I decline something, does the person who's been declined, do they see that it was me who declined it?
That's what I'm thinking.
I'm just asking.
It's a great question.
You know, that is a good question. Do you put any notes in about why you declined it?
No,
I
don't even know that there's space to do that.
I believe there are reasons why you can decline a post that did it not follow group rule. They keep on changing this. There used to be where you could say this post didn't follow group rules. Or you could put some notes in. You could decline with a read. So there's lots of ways to do it. I will take a look at that and I will find out.
Okay, or you can one of you can post a photo of bare feet, and I'll decline it and see if and then you can tell me if you saw that it was me who declined it or something. But I think all of us would maybe be a little bolder about declining if we didn't think we were going to get personally attacked, because we do, or certainly I do at least, get people messaging me going, how come you didn't approve this post? You approved his post, but you didn't approve mine.
Yeah. And somebody asked me for your address recently.
Sorry?
Somebody asked me for your address recently.
You're going to come over to my house? Okay. It's not a big airport here, but and there's only so much time I want to put into arguing on the internet, which is like zero time. I don't.
Some people you can't win. It just doesn't matter. Some of our members, most of our members are great people. They are comfortable with what we do. They're easygoing. They understand flexibility because they've all had flight delays and things. But there's some people, very, very small number, that just don't want to be easy to deal with. They just want to give you a hard time. And it's a handful, but they can make it unpleasant for everybody by some of the behaviors that they use. So being condescending in a group comment or a post
Yeah.
doesn't really make it a pleasant environment for anybody.
Yeah.
If it's funny, if it's meant to be funny and you know it's taken funny, that's one thing. But some of the stuff that we see is just nasty, and there's no need for it.
Well, a great question to ask is when you make the comment, what is the purpose of this comment? So in other words, if Sahil writes something and I write, "You're kidding me, right?" What am I trying to get from that? Like to make fun of Sahil, to get a response? Like, what am I trying to get out of that? So
Nothing.
at that point, yeah, exactly. So the point is, if you're putting a comment just to hear yourself talk, or just to say like, "Oh, look at this guy," and just to highlight somebody and shame them or make them feel stupid, I mean, what value is that bringing to the group? Just like,
Yeah.
"Oh, it's just a little tough love," or some whatever you're going to say. At the end of the day, think about this: add value, okay, and
Yeah.
stop taking away value. So whatever you're going to do, if you've got, I mean, there's posts that I see, I'm like, this is stupid, but I'm not going to write this as stupid because what value does it bring? So I can sit in my own brain and have a little conversation with myself, going how stupid this is, and no one needs to know. But I just told you, so now you know. You just don't know which ones.
But that's the thing. Everybody thinks what they
100%.
want to post or what they want to see is important. Great.
Sure.
And it might be important to 10% of the people, 15% of the people. It's not going to be important to everybody. But the 10 or 20 or 30% that don't think it's important, you just ignore it. People just cannot ignore things.
Scroll on by. Scroll on
Right.
by.
And we try not to remove people from the group for being what they are. But there have been so many times when I'm just looking at a post and I'm so aggravated by it because I know they just made a bunch of people just feel like complete idiots that you just want to remove somebody. You just said, you don't belong here. You're not, you must have been a kid that was put in the corner a lot because you don't belong with the rest of the people playing in this sandbox nicely. And you have to play nicely. We're all adults. We're not children.
Yeah.
Some of us are in their 30s, 40s, 50s. Some are starting out like Cal Julius. He's just fairly new at traveling.
Hitting the dating groups, like he's doing the right thing.
I know.
Appreciate
He's going to be single for a while after this podcast.
There you
But
go.
Can I post for other people? My son's still single.
There you go. There you go.
Dating chat.
Yeah, I don't see why not. The
Dating
chat.
Can't see the chats.
He is so happy with gold status. He keeps texting me. It's like, gold status seems really luxurious, Mom. And I go, like, yeah, it is. 'Cause I made him my million-mile companion, and he's like, "Oh, this is the best."
What's your status, Dorothy?
Well, I'm a million mile, but I'm gold. If I had to organically qualify again this year, I'd hit gold. I'm
Now,
not
what's your
even
status, Scott?
close to platinum. Not
Okay.
even close.
Let's see. Who is the asshole in this group?
Definitely not me.
No, you too, yes.
Aren't you Global Services?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. You know, I was talking to MG today. He got somebody booted out of a first class seat because he was going to take a flight.
Wow. Okay,
Now,
but
he
you
didn't
know
do
what?
it.
If
He
I
didn't
were in a
do it.
first class seat and he came by, man, he can have it. Right?
He didn't do it though. It was done for him. He didn't understand that.
Yeah,
what
I
was gonna
can't see
happen.
him ever doing that. He'd just be
He would
like,
not
put
do
me in
that.
the seat. Yeah.
He was actually here at my house today when I felt
Oh,
like
what a nice guy.
God entered the room. So it was quite pleasant. He is planning.
I would never have heard of his organization and his efforts if it were not for your group.
This
Evan. I mean, that's where I'm aware that he posts in other places, but not other places where I am.
Well, he's gotten
And-
60 or 70% of the miles because of
Come
the
from this
group.
group.
So
Right.
so again, like that's awesome. And again, like we're not sitting here trying to promote like individual things, but the fact that we can have such a huge impact on something that's really helping people, however it builds itself from this group, that's pretty awesome. It's cool.
And it's funny, but we only have him. We have 5,000 people.
Yeah.
We have a lot of people in the group that are CEOs of smaller companies.
Mhm.
They travel a lot. They've been around the world. Some of them are well-to-do. Some of them aren't quite. But you don't see a lot of people doing the things that he's doing.
Mm.
And
you know what we should do?
Hmm.
Let's have a whole podcast on that and actually invite people for what they're considering doing. Because I talk to a lot of C-level people being a coach, and I feel like there's a lot of people who are very scared to align something with their business, even though he doesn't directly align it with his business. They're scared to embed into any kind of philanthropy because they're worried that they're going to lose customer base because, oh, well, that's what this group does. So people are very scared to even have a foundation anymore because of that. So that would be an
today's
amazing
political correctness. Yes,
that's my whole point with the cancel culture. I don't even want to label it. Doesn't matter what we label it. But I think that he's one of the rare people who might be getting away with it. Because I've had this conversation multiple times where people like, we used to donate to Komen, but now Komen was partnered with Planned Parenthood. And then because of Planned Parenthood, we can't so even though they've had this amazing success and saved people who had breast cancer, now they can't do it because of alliances. So a lot of people are getting into that stuff. And I've even heard when I'm saying, hey, we just helped somebody come back from the Ukraine. Oh, you know that those people aren't. I'm like, oh, just shut up and stop it. Like, whatever your political beliefs are. There's a kid's getting on a plane right now who's going to have a better life. I don't give a shit about your political beliefs. Sorry, I always have to say shit at least one time. It seems like it comes out of my mouth because I'm from Boston. I'm sorry.
Well, we know how you mascot are. He also, I found out today, he also has he has a dog, not a shelter, a clinic that he's built and funded down in Raleigh-Durham, and they take care of thousands of dogs.
Doesn't surprise me.
He's working with another person that's providing medication and treatment, and they just handle. I mean, he does a lot of very interesting things with his time. I don't know who just boarded their flight, but they saw us live, whoever that was. But he does a lot, and he has the energy he's got. It's just amazing.
Beautiful.
Because he's up at 4:00 in the morning, and he's on his first flight in Raleigh. He always connects someplace to go somewhere.
Yeah.
And then he's just out there just doing his thing, working the philanthropy. He has a woman that he's paying to be out in, where is she? In Turkey.
Yeah.
And she's handling all the flights. So, but I'm thinking out of 5,000 people, we only have one. So I'm wondering how many others are doing things
that we just don't know about. Yeah.
Right.
So let's ask that question right now. So anybody listening to this right now, or if you're not listening, but you're a friend with somebody who's in the group, who's in a C-level position, or somebody who's well-to-do financially and has some kind of a foundation or some kind of a nonprofit, let's try to figure out, any cause at all. Let's figure out a way to use these numbers. And again, it gets catchy because then it's like, oh, do we all just dump our favorite nonprofit in here and now to change the group? But if there's something that we can be doing that's sitting on the sideline that's not infiltrating the group, if we can be helping
one
people,
thing that works
out
about MG's approach is he doesn't message people and say, can I have your miles? He says, here's a need, and there's no shaming if you don't donate to that need. It's just kind of like he's saying, here's what we could sure use. And then people volunteer, but he
is travel related.
Comes after people or asks for things. He just shows the need.
What Evan said, I think it's very relevant. MG's foundation, because it's travel related. Like I have my nonprofit, but I don't post anything to our group because I
forgot about you. Yes,
I
remember now. But
it's so far away, right? Yeah.
Because he did it the first time.
Anything with nothing that's.
But it's with children, right?
So nothing that's really travel related. So I don't know if it's maybe better to keep it that way, or if it's better or more fair to say, okay, if we let one person post their foundation, we let everybody. But then I think Scott was just saying that we don't want to just flood that. Now we become a nonprofit.
But you could choose one day of 1 month and say, this is Foundation Day, and we're going to give people a platform. And today you can post and explain what you do and how you do it. And that's not people fundraising every day, which would get tedious.
What if we ask everybody in a post? Okay, so why don't I do this? I'll take responsibility to do this. So we can just do a quick survey of, would people like to see a podcast every other week that features 2 of our members with and then we highlight. So I'll do a quick interview with them, run through. We'll highlight their foundation. Now, it has to be something that you're either on the board or, like for Sahil, he could definitely do that. I mean, I've got my own stuff too. I'm not sitting here like explaining it all, but we could do a quick conversation about that and then highlight it. If people find value and interest, then you can go follow it. And then we'll use this forum to offer that. But again, it's a skip over post if it's not for you.
Yeah.
Does that resonate? What do you think, Evan? Or is that something we can ask everybody?
Yeah. One of the posts I just saw said it's a slippery slope, but I guess we can. But I'm looking behind you, Scott, and I'm like, the Go Love Now. That just sounds like.
That sounds like the dating chat. Yeah.
It sounds.
It is. No, that's actually I'm actually in the dating room right now.
It sounds like it's actually one of those, swapping type things. I'm not sure what's going on behind you.
It's definitely. It's exactly that, Evan. It's just a cover. It's just I just make it sound nice, but behind this door.
Oh, love.
when I flick this camera off, let's just It's not what you
Well,
think.
I was in Colorado this weekend. I was meeting with somebody, and if you follow my post, you know who I was meeting with. And she told me Colorado is a hotbed for that activity, Scott. So I suggest you move from Texas.
Just so you know, if you go to the website, it's so the opposite of what you're saying. It literally responded that I was in schools talking to kids so they love themselves more. And again, don't take that out of context. I'm literally making sure that kids feel good about who they are and live their best lives, so they literally believe in themselves. And that's the basis. And then I've just scaled that into coaching for adults and other stuff. But the point is, it's definitely a benevolent thing. It's not what you think. And don't distort my name and make this.
Go love now.
But just so you know, when I first came up with that name, my brother and sister both went, "Go love now." I like it. I'm like, stop. I'm in schools with kids. Like,
go love now.
Yeah. No, they were
Hey
doing
now.
like Barry White voices going, "Scott
Go
David
love
Goyette,
now."
go love now.
Come
on, man.
I think we could probably do it once a month, where we have two events. And somebody just said, "Go Love Now" exudes great energy. There you go, Scott. You got what you're looking for.
The energy that Evan wants, or the energy.
You better have energy if you're going to go love now. But
otherwise, go love tomorrow and get some rest.
Take some
I go love
later. We could probably do it once a month, where we have one podcast and we have two different groups, because Cal DeJulius, who just got divorced tonight or separated from his significant other,
have the divorce party. Actually, in Dallas, he said he's going to see Lloyd. It turns out.
Oh, shirtless Lloyd. Shirtless Cal and
Lloyd. It's going to be a new show. It's going to be perfect.
Oh, and I had a conversation with Lloyd about shirtless stuff tonight, which was quite an interesting conversation. I'll relay that some other time. His family started a foundation about 10 years ago, BelieveInDreams.org. So there's a lot of things. I think there are more people out there that just actually, I respect this more, because people don't want to just jam their things down a non-related group. So
I think if you have it once a month or twice a month in a podcast, that's very different from telling people, "Oh, you can post whatever in the group." I think
100%,
that's
100%.
the slippery slope.
So I'm gonna do this.
Why don't you go listen to on purpose? That's your choice.
I'll put a what do you call it? Just a poll in, and maybe we'll have a few suggestions. So maybe do we do once a month with two foundations? Maybe 4 foundations might be good. 15 minutes each. Do a 60 minutes all one time. And then we can get in a year, what's that, 48 foundations? I mean, it's pretty good. So, and then maybe we just do it very simply. The first 48 that are interested, and just make it that easy. Like, it's
not alphabetical order. I've been scarred.
First come, first serve. Yeah. You know, we got Cal's the first one. If he doesn't go through his divorce and he's got time, we'll get him on.
What about
Sahil's already here?
Sahil's right here.
Sahil's already second. He didn't even move. He's still in the
He didn't even move.
But
the thing is, as long as you're in the top 4, you're the first show, so it doesn't matter.
Okay, good point.
I will be grateful for any opportunity we have to
done deal.
Share our foundation.
Done deal.
And Joe just reminded me that we're supposed to do a podcast about people helping others in the group.
100%. So let's do that. Let's make that next. You know what it was? I think we were waiting to do the Chicago and the Dallas events, and then that was next. So you guys got to stay honest too. Because don't forget, we're random volunteers trying to make your life great in this group. Sometimes a little prodding and reminders are useful.
Well, I'm sure Joe will be prodding me all weekend, because he's going to be in Texas.
And Joe the prodding.
Joe the prodder. Are you coming to Texas, Scott?
Well, I'm in Texas, but I can't get to Dallas.
I know you're coming to. Come on, it's 2 hours away. Come on.
It's 3:20, but I will do exactly what you do. You want to shorten it. It's not even really much more than 30 minutes. Just an extra 3 hours than 30. Yeah. No.
And if you drive with Sahil on the express lane, forget it. You'll get there immediately. It's almost like
my drive was not that bad when you rode with me. I think I drove just fine.
You drove fine. Yeah, absolutely fine. Anything over 80 miles an hour is fine with me. I'm good with
I just didn't know how to get out of his car because the doors went a different way. I was like, how am I getting out of here? But I needed a taco, so I had to get out of it. So finally I got out. All worked out.
I wanted to come this weekend for the event, but Zero. So I won't be making it, but I really miss hanging out with you guys. I was telling Kareem actually the other day how much he missed out the last event when we were just hanging on the boat drinking at the end and just being goofy. I was
laughing because he didn't get his jacuzzi.
Picture from when you and Scott loving now in the hot tub.
Bro, that's the hot tub. That should have been a sign behind the hot tub with Scott.
Yeah, I'll admit. I mean, that picture looked really weird. You know, like it's a great. If you're let's put it this way: if you're going, oh, I want you to meet my friend Scott, and that's the picture you showed, I'd be like, no, I'm good. No, I'm good. Okay.
There was
Tuesday. Oh, I think I'm busy on Tuesday.
Wednesday.
Maybe
Yeah,
go
I'm
up
busy
later.
every Wednesday
Yeah.
forever.
Listen, there was less than no room between you. I don't know how you did it. It just
Yeah,
looked like
there's
the
only
two of you were
people in that
blending
whole
on
hot
top of
tub.
each
And
other.
somehow, yeah, there was no gap in between them.
And Scott's big toe was sticking out of the water to block the camera lens.
Yeah.
So he's
So one more reason that we need to have events, we need to make Zatar chicken. We need to do all the things, keep the community going, have a little grace for each other, be kind, see how we can keep making this group better the world. I mean, we got the MGs, we got Sahil, we got all these people offering, you know, their homes or you know, their locations to make these great events. Let's keep supporting them because they're amazing. They're fun. And they're, what was the word used to describe the last one? It wasn't interesting. It was, what do you say, Sahil? What was you said the last event you go, it was eventful.
Anyone I know, and you're asking me what I said.
It wasn't interesting, but it was another nondescript word that described it very well. You're like,
Sahil talks a lot and a lot of words come out, and it's kind of hard to backtrack to that point because same thing. You asked me what I said 30 seconds ago, and I have no clue because
let's put it this way: when he said it, it resonated. It was the right word. I was like, yeah, it was that.
I don't remember.
It essentially was interesting. You know, when like something crazy and you
it
go,
was an event to remember for sure. Like I said, the crew still talks about it. They we got a new stew. She joined about 2 weeks ago, and the first thing Captain John did was say, so you know, when Sahil throws a party, this is how it goes. This is what you can expect. And I was like, true but not true.
Both of the boat rides
branded pedicures. Yeah,
both of the boat rides were great. Both of the boat rides were unique and different. They were both great.
We're gonna do another one soon because now we got the water slides coming in tomorrow. So now we can.
Oh no!
Did you put the water slide in as a safety device?
No, it's it looks like the ones that you get in the airplane, but it goes to the very top where we hang out when we set sail. Like when you got to climb the elevator, it goes all the way there, and it's like 34-foot slide, and you just go straight into the water. And
wow.
It's awesome.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Are you serving drinks?
I agree, but I think it's still kind of
so
fun.
many things I want to say right now, and you know what I want to say, but I'm not going to say it. But there's a lot of opportunity for really funny stuff. But I'm going to back up and just smile.
Sahil, I just hope you don't serve drinks at the top of the slide.
No. Here's the good thing about those slides, because we got it because they're good for charter. And I was okay, if I'm going to charter, may as well have all the bells and whistles. And people only use it once because it's a lot of work to go down the slide. Then you got to swim around to the platform, climb back onto the boat, climb the stairs. You got to basically climb 3 sets of stairs to get back up to the hot tub or to the water slide. And most people will do it once and then they're done.
Yeah, you're right. It is a long way.
The crew hates it because the crew's dreading it because it's like a 600-pound water slide that they got to set up and inflate and take down when we're done. And they're like, oh, for people to use it once, but it's also they sit around do nothing 5 days a week, so they can handle it.
That is a good point because even watching the jet skis get put on and off the boat, there's a lot going on there. So you slap on.
There's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes with the crew.
We get to see it all. We would just watch it. We were just watching things happen, like live saved, and Evan, just all those things. It was good.
No,
Excuse me. I remember who won the actual toe polish contest. Who was that?
It wasn't me.
Not this year.
not this year. First season, season 1.
Slide boat ride 1. It was
maybe next boat event that we'll do is I'll have some take videos of the prep. It is pretty cool seeing all the prep that the crew does. It's really it goes on for like I'm going on board on Sunday. They started prep today for me being on there for 8 hours. They started prep today, so there's a lot of prep and stuff. Especially when you have a big party. There's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes that even I don't really know about because I'm like I don't want to know. I'm like just to get it done and make sure we're ready. But there's always I'm sure when you guys walk through and saw the engine room, there's a million things going on there at once, and there's always maintenance stuff that needs to be done. So there's always a bunch of stuff that they're doing to prep for a party. So I'll maybe for the next one we'll have them videotape everything and make a nice.
You should read the chat, Sahil.
Yeah, Pete's got some stuff in there, a couple other comments and questions. We can go in and answer all of it after too.
When's the next yacht party or pool party? I wonder who posted that.
I'm thinking the next one. It might be safer to do at my house, but I don't know.
Only if you hand out drink tickets.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even know what's safe anymore. The world is very different than it was like 20 years ago. I feel like everything, like I just feel like there's always like a variable that I'm like, oh, I didn't see that variable coming.
There's a lot of potential danger at Sahil's house.
I'll tell you something that because I originally thought, after the last part, I said, okay, well, jumping from boats, not a great idea. So maybe we can avoid that at home. And then I had some friends over right before I went to India, and we decided to jump into the intercoastal behind us. And I don't really jump. That was my first ever jumping. I don't like the water, so.
Yeah,
so you can
ironically enough.
and on the bottom of the stairs to get back up onto the dock, it's covered during high tides. There's a bunch of these clams and whatever things that stick to it. And luckily it was me that stepped on it, not someone else, and it cut my foot. So I'm like, you know what? There's also potential dangers at home. So I'm like, I don't think there's a way to. I don't think I
immediately thought about the water, and I immediately thought about somebody jumping off the second floor into your pool.
That's what when you said it right away, I saw like Kareem.
That would not end well. I don't think he would make it into the pool from there, but it would not end well if someone did it. Okay. I think at that point, I think Don was very generous letting us all into his house for the first time. I think I would probably keep everybody outside.
I think it was one of those, like, you're not thinking about what you're doing until you're in the middle of it. Because like as we're in there, I was like, this is really kind of them, but there's a lot going on. As people are drinking a lot, there's a lot of chance for error.
Yes.
And it actually turned out really great. But like as you're watching it, you're like, oh, this is an adult fraternity party, and this could go bad in a second.
Yeah, that's why I was at first I was like, I don't really have any personal stuff on the boat, so I'm fine having a bunch of strangers walking around the boat. There's really nothing to take. But I'm like, I don't think now I think because I know who's good and who's not. I have a good idea of who I'd let into my house, and unfortunately I've already let Evan in. So no, I'm kidding.
Your house will never be the same.
Too late to walk that back. Yeah,
it was hard to get in too. He actually locked the door, and he had to climb the wall on the backside. It was tough.
It's fun.
I did have a toilet problem, which Evan was very useful for. He did help fix the leaking toilet.
The toilet. Thank you.
I thought for sure you were going to say he was the toilet problem. Like when I heard toilet problem, I'm like, oh, tell us more. All Evan.
No, I just had a leaking toilet out of nowhere, and tell us more. I'm not handy at all, and Evan knew what to do.
Nice.
So
I always know do the toilet.
Yep.
I like it.
So next one to answer the next yacht party or pool party. We'll see what I feel comfortable doing, but probably sometime in the winter because I feel like it's very easy.
I think we just go back to Don's and finish the job. Just go back and finish Don's house off.
He doesn't know, but I think he'll be cool with it.
Yeah, he's got 3 dogs now, so the dog bombs are going to be in the yard.
Or MG that stepped in the dog bomb.
Yes, it was me and MG that stepped in the dog bombs. Yes.
They're gonna be there. There's a small yard, and they're gonna poop on that grass because that grass was perfect. So you're gonna step in those.
I don't think it's real though.
No, it looked like golf coursey grass.
Yeah, but the pool, you cannot drown in his pool if you tried, unless you stand on your head. It's really short and really convenient, and I think you need another pedicure anyway. So
I actually got one when I was in India. I got to send you a picture of it.
Thank you.
Like it. Just send it through. I'll approve it. Yeah.
It was great. I took Jonathan to India with me because he's starting his new job. So before he started, he wanted to go. He's like, show me India. So I took him with me, and he got his first pedicure. And he used to make fun of us for getting our nails done and all that stuff. And then he's like, wow, this is actually pretty great. I might go back to America and get this done too. And I'm like, see, once you have it once, you can't. You'll never want to give it up because I like the pedicures.
I made fun of it.
Pay $70 for one in America when I can get one for $7 in India. I'm like, I'd rather.
You got to come to New York. It's $12. So
really, okay, I could do that. I got to send Katrina there, where she goes here. She tells me how much she paid for for a pedicure, her nails or something, I almost have a heart attack. I'm like, that's a car payment that you paid
Well,
for
yeah, but
nails.
there's no guarantee there won't be infection, but it's $12.
No, there's
Yeah,
really
I
nice
got
places.
mine done in India at some very sketchy places. So that I promise you, show me your worst, and it won't scare me.
Yeah. It's $35 in Austin, and they're actually really, really amazing places. You get the back massage. They'll hand you a glass of wine. I mean, it's pretty nice. So
Scott,
Oh, wow.
do they have the Go Love Nice sign by the
behind, it's in the back. It's in the back room. No, yeah, that's different. That's more than 35. That's a $40 tip. Totally different.
Yeah. I'm seeing now
Dorothy,
an
I'm
event
sorry, Dorothy.
Is this where we end this? Is this where we end this right here?
a Zatar cook-off with pedicures.
Don's watching the video. There is
Yeah.
nothing wrong with your grass, Don. Your grass
Not
is
at all.
perfect.
It's all my
that
grass. Nothing wrong
my
with your
shoes
grass.
were not perfect, but the grass was perfect. Your house is wonderful. We want to all come
It
back.
was awesome, actually. It's really
It was
cool.
Yeah, I had
awesome.
a great time. It was
awesome.
I think
Yeah,
Don
luckily there was no
trying to
drama,
ignore what was
but,
going on. What's that?
which was nice.
Yeah, he was trying to ignore what was going on. But
Yeah, he was like, he had his blinders on. He's like, I don't want to know.
I was at his house the day before, and I said, Don, you have to put that away. You have to put that away. You have to put that away because it will break. And he didn't, and we got lucky. Nothing broke. But
yeah, there were a few things like you said that were sitting around. And I was like, oh, you shouldn't have that sitting there. And I mean, it's really nice that someone opens their home too, and I think it's great. But it was like there were a few like I would have moved that kind of moments.
Hmm.
So
Like
Yeah.
baby proofing a house.
yeah, pretty much adult proofing a house. Exactly.
now let's talk
Exactly.
about what happened at the party. We posted a lot of pictures, and there were some grumps. They didn't like the. Well, why'd you post this stuff for? This is not flying or United related. Well, I want to point out that the group is not just about flying and planes. It's
Community.
about the community that we've set up, right? And people liking each other and getting to actually be well together. And if you don't want to see pictures of other people having fun, you can move on.
Right.
And-
Scroll on by.
Yeah.
Right.
Scroll on by.
And you know, and then we had comments, and we, somebody actually, I posted something about the party, and somebody said, well, maybe some of us don't want to be social. I
That's
said,
fine. So you
Yeah,
don't have to be
fine.
social.
but you
But
didn't
I
have to
mean,
say it, right? You could just ignore it. And it's just the way some people are.
So look at it this way. Everybody's getting practice on being a post-COVID adult, and we're trying to interact in the world. And some people are succeeding more than others, but we're all learning. So let's just keep having fun. If people don't
Yeah.
want us to have fun, then
I think
Sorry
one
about
of the best parts of the group is meeting people. I've made plenty of good friends from
Yeah.
this group, and on my way to India, as soon as I landed, I found out that the gentleman sitting 2 rows to the back of us is also part of this group, and he came and introduced
nice.
himself, and I made a new friend. So it's great. I've got to meet a lot of people at events, and just really had a good time. So I don't understand when people are like, oh, I don't want to see this, or I don't want to see the pics or people having fun, or I don't want to come to these events, because I'm like, oh, to me that's like, of course
but
we
you
learn a
don't,
lot.
but you don't have to go to those events. I mean,
Yeah.
I haven't been able to make an event yet, although I hope to someday. But I got my first cruise of my life booked for January with another member of our group. Well, neither of us could make the Mexico cruise, so we thought, okay, we'll just cruise on our own. And
Oh wow!
Is that the Greg Smith cruise?
Sorry.
Is that the Greg Smith cruise coming up? Is that the one you're talking about?
Couldn't make that one. So
Okay.
so we're
Oh,
going
there was
to
a group coming up.
in January. And I think we're going to be filming some things and posting them in the group because
Nice.
we plan to have a very good time.
yeah.
Should I set up an adult picture group chat? Should I do that?
Talk picture chat.
Or are we good?
Not a chat because I
Yeah.
can't get to the chat. But
Greg is saying sorry you can't make his cruise, Dorothy. So Greg,
I
the infamous
know.
Greg Smith is on.
I
watching
know,
go.
but there
I
will be
didn't know there
other.
was a cruise. What are the details? Was this on the events page?
It's in the events. You
I
need to
checked
go to
like-
the group more often, Sahil.
I checked it like 2 days ago, and I didn't see it on there.
Yeah.
It's actually at the bottom of events because it's later in the year.
Oh,
So
I gotcha. I didn't see it either.
it's in there.
Cool.
I didn't even think about Greg's cruise. It would be interesting because on the Greg Smith cruise, anything can happen.
That's
So,
fair. There's no rules. No rules, Greg
It's a
Smith. I
bunch of
like it.
people in plain looking shirts.
Yeah. There's no flash or flare.
Oh,
Don, have
I
a
love
good flight.
cruises. Those are especially if you get the unlimited alcohol packages, you're gonna have a great time.
Just bring your
Just
own.
like your cruises.
Let's all say goodbye to Don. His flight's taken off.
All right.
So have a safe flight, Don.
Bye.
Right on.
Um, So anyway, he's today's Thursday. He's going back to Florida, so he's coming down to your neck of the woods.
And the weather's great here, so I invite everybody to come down. It's getting nice here again.
Hey, I've got a fifth person. Why don't we say hi to Colin real quick, and then we can
Ah,
and then we can wrap it up.
What state
I
is
tried.
Colin in? There he is. Scott
tried.
So
Collin.
tell us about the wine.
yeah.
He's driving. How did he go to
No,
a wine
we're-
tasting and he's driving now?
Wait a second. This doesn't make sense.
Hey, I was pouring the wine, not tasting the wine. Don't worry.
Oh, okay.
Oh, so I mean, you can't recommend any wine to us?
Well, I can recommend it. It's called Perchance. We just got 99 points.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Is that your wine?
It is not my wine. It's a wine I'm associated with.
Okay.
Nice.
So he said he's sending everybody in the group a bottle. That's 5,000 people.
Nice, nice. I'd like mine to come with a little handle wrap on it.
I'll just take mine to big cup if you don't mind.
They're nice. They come wrapped in a nice little orange. Got a great little plastic cap on them.
Nice.
Is that what you're going
Perchance?
to? Is that what you're going to serve at your restaurant?
We will serve in the restaurant. Yeah, we will. My partner is one of the owners.
Nice. Super cool.
Nikki says she just landed. Hi, Colin. So she's saying
Yep.
hi to Colin.
What's up, Nikki? We missed you in Chicago.
You missed me too. I really wish I could have gone.
I wanted
saw
to
the
go too.
pictures. It looked great. It looked great.
You know what's weird? Usually, like the directs from Austin, they could be like $200-$300. They were $650, and I was like, "You got to be kidding me!" Just for an economy ticket for a night, because I was going to stay for a night. And I'm doing the math, and I'm like, "Okay, this is about to be $1,000 to drink wine." I was like,
Yeah.
"Not that I don't want to do that."
Newark was 700, middle seats only.
That's
And
crazy.
I just couldn't see doing that. And it's, I'm not a middle seat person. No matter how short the flight is, I'm not a middle seat person. So or a window person. So
Oh,
it's,
I'm always window. Always a window.
I prefer window too.
Me too. Because I like
So
to
we
lay my
can-
head in the wall.
so we
where
can
kids
travel
have licked
together.
The wall.
I could take
Yeah,
the
if
aisle.
that
You
was
could take
me,
the-
I'd
Yep,
rather
I'm
put another
an
bill.
aisle person because I like to be able to get up and walk and move. So
There
Yes.
you go.
I like to trip people as they walk by. But
I
Colin,
believe that, actually.
Colin, tell us some of the things that you think people should think about when they're posting posts or commenting about posts.
Commenting. Oh, I don't know. Just think about the fact that somebody's got to manually go and read through this. And, it seems effortless when you're posting it, but when we're going through it, it's and it's just this is the team. We got to go through and see if it's been posted or not. Just be mindful when posting links, and also if you're going to post a link or a photo, make sure we can actually see it. That's my
That's
biggest
fair.
pet peeve.
Oh, you
So
mean
when
like the one the
post
other day?
something, and I have to decline it because there's just no. It's like closed off. You got to be a friend or a follower or something to see it. So make sure
That's
it's
fair.
public before you post it.
The other thing was there was a post that Colin I think declined the other day that I got yelled at about, and it was a post of a locker with somebody's name on it, but you couldn't read the name, and you didn't know what the locker was about, and it was just it had no context. So Colin had declined it. I got yelled at about why Colin declined it, and I looked at it. I said, "What am I looking at? There's nothing here to look at. So what are you doing?" So then the person sent me a better picture and then left the group.
Well, at least you got the picture, Evan. That's all that matters, right?
And what was the point of the locker?
It had one of our group members' name on it, and it was ordained by United at one of the
Okay.
clubs, and it was just he was just trying to what am I looking for? Acknowledge that this person has a locker with their name on it. So
Okay. Yeah.
it was not a big deal, but we couldn't read it, and then he was offended that Colin declined it. So
Yeah.
But in general, with any kind of photo or link, if you added one or two lines about what it is and why you're posting it and what you think about it, that helps us before we have to think, well, do I really want to take 10 minutes to watch your video now? If I know what I'm watching, I'm more likely to click that. If it's just here's a TikTok, and I'm thinking, well, is it funny? Is it informative? Is it
Yeah.
what
Is
is
appropriate?
Appropriate's a good one too. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's been a few that are posted that are a little questionable.
Yeah, I only ones that I really declined, and I think that's I think if we do decline them, you leave a comment, they do see who did it. Because I had someone respond is when they post like a screenshot of their reservation and it has their
Oh, their information
Yeah.
on it.
It
Yeah.
wasn't breaking the rules. I decline it anyway and say, hey, I don't know if you want to post that. You can exit out. And sometimes I think a couple of weeks ago I sent someone a message, or I declined it and sent someone a message, and they still reposted again without blacking anything out. So I was like, whatever, I'll approve it. If they've been warned, and if they don't care,
Yeah,
then,
if you don't care, we don't care. Then whatever.
yeah,
But you know what happens though?
I'm just
Then-
going. I'm
then-
going out of my to help you.
Then what happens is the people that do care jump on me and
Yeah.
say, you should
Yeah.
tell this person to remove it because it's personal information. I said, but they were already told twice to remove it. What do you want us to do? They want to post it, let them post it. Some people
Yeah.
can't figure out how to edit things. They don't know how to
Yeah.
edit a bitmap. They don't know how to edit a photo. They don't know how to use the editor. So
So then don't post it. That would be the solution. Like not us, but then don't
Yeah,
send it.
yeah.
Like, like,
Yeah,
But
if
they
you
wanna
want to send it, you can send it.
They'd submit the first time. And I said, okay, they really don't. And I saw on, especially on Facebook, they saw the message and they just didn't seem to care. So I said, if you don't care, then I don't care. So
There you go.
We're all adults,
then-
right?
well, we asked for proof of status, right? We asked for proof of status to join the group. And there are a lot of people that black out the information. Some people actually take the United page that comes up in the app and they trim so much of it off that I can only see their name and welcome to United. That's all I can see. I said, that's not enough. I need the whole page and you can block out your number. But then some people just send me the card with no
I
numbers.
did. I
whatsoever.
totally did. I'm like, whatever. I don't
Did you?
care. You want to steal, whatever. I'm like, I don't care. I'm like
And-
the too trusting person. I'm the guy that Sahil's talking about. Like, oh, if you're gonna change me to a middle seat, then the universe wanted it that way. But I'm starting to think that's bad. I'm starting to think that's a dumb idea.
Go
So
love now, man.
no, it's the high
Yeah,
empathy.
I should have met with Scott when he said when we came to Miami last time. I gave him some of the plus points I had expiring,
Yeah.
and I could have messed with Scott, moved him back to like
Oh, Scott?
32 feet or something
You
like
totally
that.
could have.
Any plus
And I would have
points,
been like, what the hell
brought
just
him all the way
happened?
back.
That would've
I had
sucked.
plus points, but I'm in the engine. I don't know what's going on.
I'm like, I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure
he's
I was
like,
supposed to
I
be
don't
in
know what kind of
1A.
upgrade this is, but I'm in the cargo hold, and I don't know if this is right.
The bathroom never felt so close.
Yeah. Why am I in a jump seat in the bathroom? I didn't even know there's such a thing. Whatever.
For enough plus
Local
points, you can
service
get
plus
anything.
points go a long way.
Well, thank
No,
you for
it
not
was-
doing that to me. I
So,
really
anything else you
appreciate
want to? Any other wisdom you want to impart upon us, Colin,
we're
before we
good.
wrap it up?
I don't know. Use chats. If you got a question for a certain individual, use chats.
That's a
Maybe
good
the rest of us don't care. That's all.
Except for Dorothy.
We'll throw it there.
Yeah, except for those of us who are
Except
banned
for
from
Dorothy.
chats, but everybody
all use
else, go
chats?
ahead.
Can we all use chats? All four of us.
Peruse
Scott,
them for fun. Yeah,
I
I
haven't
just
been
go in
banned
just to
yet.
watch.
Nihil. Okay. So
Okay,
Dorothy,
now
sorry.
you're just rubbing it in.
I think it's a sexist thing.
Probably. I guess that's why we do it, just to keep the woman out.
All right,
Oh, man.
guys. I think
All
this is enlightening. I hope it was enlightening to some of our
100%.
members, if they even bother to watch it. So
Yeah, they're gonna look at the time and they're gonna be like, "That's the last thing I'm gonna do with my time is spend an hour and 12 minutes and 49 seconds with these people." But that's okay. We had fun.
It'll be like reading the rules to the group. Who cares?
every week.
That's
It
fair.
is on YouTube. This will be on YouTube. I'm going to post the actual YouTube address so that everybody knows that the posts are on YouTube. They're on Scott's website. They'll be all over. They're in the actual group postings. So Lloyd missed all the conversation about him tonight. We were talking about him and his walking around shirtless. But Lloyd, you got to
Yeah.
watch the video again to see what's going on.
It was about you. The whole part that you missed was all about you. So you're gonna have to watch that.
So we're everybody. I think Scott's going to kill it. We should stay on for a couple of minutes.
Yeah. So when I
Afterwards.
hit end, you guys stay, and then we can say hi to each other. So everybody have a beautiful rest of the evening. Thanks for joining us. Hopefully we answered enough questions, and there was some mild entertainment in between, and nobody bled to death out of boredom.
And next time we're on, we're going to talk about the Texas event and see how good it was.
Yeah.
So
And we're gonna get this wine called Per Chance that's gonna be sent to all our
Everybody.
houses.
every
In a
member of the
recipe
group
for
gets
this
it.
are-
in a wrap, right? Yeah.
It's going to be sent to all
Yeah.
over the world.
Yeah, so all you have to do is send your most recent PNR to us and address, and we'll get
And
that
a
to you.
photo of your foot, and you are golden.
Yeah, and then
Mother's maiden
plus
name,
points,
and
yeah, we'll be
security
good.
number, and the street you grew up on. And we're all golden.
And then
yeah,
you all
that's
get
it.
to go and
But if
ride
you
on
want to send more
Cyberpunk.
than that, that's fine. Love you guys.
Go
Bye.
love now. Yeah.
Go love.